Best of R / Entitled Parents episode 27. Cast. EP. Mr. I done fucked up good. Mortified mom. Everyone else is self-explanatory. Yup, you read that right. An EP literally said, "Stop fucking swearing around my kid." The irony is not lost on me. But let me set the stage for you, my dear reader. It is around 9 o'clock or so, at a holiday party, with alcohol and adults. Not only that, but I was asked to bring Cards Against Humanity, so it would obviously be a setting unfit for a kid. But wait, one pair of adults decided to bring the crotch goblin. Okay, the kid was actually quite well behaved and kept it from running amok. The host put on a cartoon and things were fine. Everyone is socializing and getting along. We do our white elephant gift exchange and start playing You Don't Know Jack on the console. I should have seen where things were headed when he started to get pissed at us. You see, my screen name had a bad word in it and guests were having fun and would occasionally yell out a screen name when that person did well or sucked it around. So his kid started saying my screen name because everyone was yelling it a lot. First time I've gotten a lady to scream my name. Naturally it is our fault that his kid is repeating what we say, like it is our fault he brought his crotch dropping to what is obviously an adult party. He's telling us to stop swearing so loudly and go through the usual EP bullshit about his kid. Everyone, and I do mean everyone, rolled their eyes and ignored him. Don't want your kid around swearing adults? Don't bring it to an adult party. Problem solved. Well, one of the white elephant gifts was a cyanide and happiness card game which we started playing. People continue to swear and EP is starting to get pissed. He stands up and yells, "Stop fucking swearing around my kid," while in front of his kid. The neurons obviously weren't all firing for this guy. Now, I've hung out with him before and haven't had any problems, and I've been snarky and a smartass without any problems. But apparently today he decided to take things in a different direction. Being the snarky person I am, I stood up, about a foot away from him and whispered, "Fuck, smart, no. Should it have warranted the next action? Hell, number." Next thing I know, this Neanderthal of a hand slaps me in the side of my head as I hear the entire room gasp in amazement and shock. Now, as my head is twisting around, let's do a record scratch and provide some more background info. EP is big. He's not muscular, but he has a dad bod, so he has some mass. I wasn't on the floor, mind you, and at the time it took me off guard. After talking to the host after the event, he said everyone was completely surprised that I didn't put his head through a wall, shank him or shoot him. Why, you might ask? Well, I used to be in the US Army and specifically the infantry, so I had a lot of opportunity to do hand-to-hand combat training. I can safely say I probably have 500 plus hours of training under my belt. I'm no MMA master, but I can handle my own and I'm not exactly a small person. Not only that, but I do have some problems that are associated with combat deployments. Use your imagination, but I will say I have traumatic brain injury, TB, from 2 events and additional impacts are not good, plus I have tinnitus. He got me on the ear, so that is making things fun with a much louder than normal eeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeeee into a gun control debate. There are other places for that. Also, I'm not one to shy away from a fight, but I'm also not going to start something or stick around a bad situation if it can be avoided. All of that is why everyone was surprised with my response. Apparently everyone's immediate thought was, well, EP is going to die tonight. Back to the story. I start looking at him for a second and ask, really, for that? And he starts making excuses about his precious little failed abortion and how we shouldn't swear at the adult party. Someone says he's toasted and drank too much. EP responds with he's only had 2 beers. Yeah, 2 beers since I got there, but he had a total of 5 beers, 3 to 4 shots of whiskey and wine in a few hours. So yes, he was toasted. His wife is yelling at him saying things like, "What the hell, EP?" and generally being a good person. At this point I start making my way to the door and have to brush past him. Thankfully I could do that without further incident. So I start getting my shit on to leave and his wife is telling him to apologize. I thank her for the gesture but say that a forced apology won't do anything. There was a study done with kids and forced apologies and it was discovered they are actually bad in the long run. I don't remember the details but I'm sure you can find the article. She tells him to either apologize or they are leaving. I'm almost ready to go, so I tell them to stay. I also go off a bit and tell that if her husband is willing to pull a stunt like this in public, it is a matter of time before he attacks her or her kid. I also point out to EP that he assaulted me in front of 10 witnesses, and if I had called the cops it wouldn't go well for him. So he starts to make excuses like, come on, I didn't hit you that hard. Yeah, but took up, you did. I felt it resonate through my skull, and people on the other side of the room heard it. Seeing that he can't even keep count of his alcohol intake, he doesn't get to be the bastion of reason. The funny thing is, he couldn't even let out a forced and unauthentic apology. A few other things were said in anger. Something about him being an insufferable cunt. He's going to hurt his family someday and he needs therapy for anger management. I also mention I had every right to immediately defend myself and could have gone in that direction. At that point I walk out. This was also done in front of the lady I've been seeing for about 2 months, so that is a great introduction right there. I'm driving us back and I'm fuming. She and I are talking and I decide I'll call the police when we get back to my place and at least get it on record and decide in the morning if I want to press charges. I texted the host informing him of this decision and asked what police department covers his area. There is some crazy overlap here and there. He calls and during the chat informs me EP is scary when drunk. He used to room with the guy and when everyone was done drinking they would all lock themselves in their rooms because of him. The host tells me he's been on the receiving end of the anger in the past. I didn't ask for clarification on the specifics. It was at that point I realized he needed to realize the repercussions of his actions and he finally needs to be held accountable. I contacted the police and requested charges be brought against him. We shall see what comes of it. On a side note, my head is still splitting. Hooray for B. My ear is still ringing more than normal. So I get to make an appointment to be seen at the Veteran Affairs to see if this exacerbated these issues and take an appointment from another veteran who might need it more than me. Thanks and fuck you, EP. Side note, because I know someone is going to ask, I didn't physically retaliate because the situation didn't call for it. He struck me once and stopped so I didn't have to use physical force to defend myself. I'm sure I could have and gotten away with it, but the important thing is it wasn't required. Had he continued to attack me, you would be reading a very different story right now. I certainly didn't need to utilize my firearm because there wasn't a threat to my life, and again, I didn't have to use it to stop the threat. Just because you potentially can, doesn't mean you should. Edit 1. Formatting edit 2. Clarity. Thank you. Next. Hi, second story on this subreddit. Hope you like. I'm on mobile, so tell me if there is any mistakes in my spelling or grammar. Backstory. I moved out of town and in a small little neighborhood which had like 5 houses in it. My mom, M, and my entitled stepdad, ESD, got in a lot of fights over him cheating. This story is of one of the worst fights they had. Story. M had found out that Esp had been cheating on her again, and she got pissed. They got into an argument in which, not a surprise, Esp denied everything. Esp then went outside and M followed him along with my older brother, Ob. Note, I was not outside when he split M's head open, so it was told to me by Ob. Ob ran outside and yelled at Esp. Esp then got pissed and threw a pill bottle at Ob, which M got in front of cause she's a big mama bear. The bottle hit her in the head and split it right above her eye. Esp then ran, taking M's phone in an attempt to stop her from calling the cops. M comes in screaming, crying, and bleeding as I see Esp run down the street. Ob screams at us. Ob, go to the neighbor's house and have them call the police. I, Ob, run with my other brother, Ob 2, to our nearest neighbor's, NB, house and have a conversation like this. NB, what's the rush? Ob 2, please call 911, it's an emerge. Ob, I cut him off. Esp split M's head open and she need an ambulance because Esp, she can't call them herself cause Esp took her phone and ran off. NB, OS at. NB quickly pulls out her phone and dial 911. We go back to 10 to M while waiting for the ambulance show up. When they did, they had an officer with M and took statements from all of us. They take M to the hospital and give her stitches. The police officer found Esp and M filed a restraining order against him. M later felt bad and dropped it, and I'm still having to live with him. I hope one day she kicks him out for good. But for now I have to just live with Esp until I move out. Sorry if it's bad formatted, but hope you enjoyed. I have tons of other stories like this and would be glad to share them with you. Sorry that there is no karma, but thank you for reading. Thank you. Next. So Christmas is fast approaching, and for anyone working retail at the moment, it's the most depressing time of the year. I work in a supermarket chain in Australia and have been for about 6 months. I'm no stranger to retail, but the sheer entitlement of this parent shook me with anger. At our supermarket we have long belt for people to unpack on and open new registers if anyone can't put their groceries on the belt. Cast, ME, Sexy Demon, EM, Entitled Mum, EB, Entitled Brat, NC, Nice Customer, M, Manager. NC had just unloaded about a 3/4 full trolley on my belt, which was about 80% of the belt space taken. They had stopped moving forward to grab some bags when EM walks straight past her, dragging her brat by the arm, aggressively, I might add, and slams down 2 cans of energy drink and a kinda surprise on my register and says, "Just these, ME. Sorry, there was a customer in front of you and I'd already added a few things in her trolley to the receipt." EM. So? Just starts a new one. I'm kind of in a hurry. EB. Mummy. I want my chocolate. ME. It doesn't work like that. I would have to take off the items one by one and get a manager to approve the cancellation. You would end up waiting longer than if you just let me serve this customer. Anyways, it's not up to me to let you before this customer, it's up to H. EM. Barking at NC. Hey, let me go in front of you. My kid really needs to use the toilet. NC. Oh, I guess that would be fine. I should add that NC is about an 80-year-old woman. Bless her heart for still doing her shopping on her own. EM. See? I don't know why you're being so difficult. This wouldn't happen at competitor. At this point the EB is trying to reach up and grab the chocolate off my till and knocks over my stack of catalogs. I swat his hand away. EM. Don't you dare touch my son. I demand that you put my groceries through now. ME. Sure, just let me call a manager. EM. Finally, I bell for a manager, who arrives promptly. The whole time we were waiting, the EM was sighing and letting out general exasperated noise. M. Hey up, what do you need? ME. This customer cut in front of NC and is demanding to be served immediately, but I've already put some things on the receipt though. M. Is this true? EP. No, I was here first and looks at my name tag. OP is refusing to help me. NC. I saw the whole thing happen. She did cut in front of me and was very rude to this young gentleman. M. Sorry mom, you'll have to wait to be served or I can help you at another register. EM. I'm not waiting. My child needs to use the bathroom. We're taking our things and leaving. She grabbed the chocolate and energy drinks and just walked out the door. Not a lot we can do to stop her. We don't have security in store and the shopping center security takes ages to respond to calls, so we just let her go. We did however go through the security footage and put her photo all over our work group chat so we can all refuse to help her if she comes back. Sorry, it was kind of anti-climactic, but so is the nature of retail. It's the most depressing time of the year. Thank you. Next. This happened over summer 2018. Alright, so I stay with my grandparents over the summer and there's a nice downtown area there. I like to go skate there. No big deal. Anyways, one day I accidentally got a bit too close to the curb and fell. The roads aren't ever too busy and I fell onto the bike path. I'd fallen maybe 20 feet away from a cop car, and as I picked myself up and dusted myself off, an officer walked over. Now, I don't have anything against officers and this one seemed pretty chill. He made sure I was okay, which I was. Then he pretty much explained I can't skate on the road and make sure to stay on the sidewalk and walking area down by the water. I was fine with this as it's pretty much what I did in general, and I ended up chatting for a few minutes with the officer, as he was a friendly person. All of the sudden from behind I hear, "You'll never end up like him," and I turn around to see a Karen and her kid. Me. Confused. Sorry, me? Karen. Yes, you're setting a bad example for every young person here. Now I'm not good at confrontation, so I start to try and ask what she meant, and Karen says, "You're setting a bad example for every child here, including mine. You should be at work or doing something useful with your life instead of causing trouble." I was dressed in a skater outfit with a tank top, jeans and a beanie. So I guess I looked like someone who would get in trouble. I also have a face what you can't exactly pinpoint my age as well, so I think she thought I was older. Officer, Mom, he wasn't causing any trouble. We were just chatting for a couple minutes. Karen, you expect me to believe you were just chatting with this miscreant? Me, I'm just a social person and like to talk to people. Karen, bull $hit. You're skateboarding on city property, which is a crime. Officer, I've already talked to him and told him to stay off the roads. Karen, turning to the cop, are you unaware of the law? Officer, I enforce it. Karen, then do your job and arrest him. Me, confused, scared and well, more confused. Hey, is it alright if I take off? Karen, no, you need to serve your punishment. Officer, Mom, he's fine. I used to skate here all the time. She looked at him like he'd just shot her in the leg and realized she'd lost and huffed off. I look at the officer and ask, you get a lot of people like her come through? Officer, yep. Capital I, thank you. Next. Hello, I have a disability. I can't remember what it's called for the life of me, which causes my ankle to give way for no reason, and it is very painful when it does. Hurts if any weight at all is on it, and I have started the progress to get or attempt to get a disabled bus pass due to this incident. I am currently in an ankle brace. Anyway, without any more explanation, here is the cast. EM entitled Pregnant Mom, POSD piece of shit bus driver, F friend, aka the best person ever, LB quiet little boy, Meridius. Anywho, onto the story. This happened a few days ago. F and I had bought ourselves movie tickets to a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and had permission from our guardians to take the bus to the theater, which was a solid 2 hours away on foot. Probably a 2 hours and 30 minutes for me, since I'm a slow walker in general. We had boarded the bus, and we both had the worst bus driver ever. When we got on, before we had sat down, and while I was still climbing up the stairs onto the bus, POSD had shut the bus door and had taken off. The bus had one seat open, and F knew about my disability and being the kind soul they are, gave me the seat. A few stops down the road, EM and LB board. EM walks up the stairs, looks around, and huffs. I'm guessing either she was just on the larger side or was pregnant, as she had a noticeable bulge in her stomach. EM, hey, you. Emmy, yeah, miss? EM, I'm pregnant. I need that seat more than you. Emmy, Mom, there's literally a whole bus around you. Ask one of them. I'm disabled. EM, you look fine. You're just being rude. F, Mom, he wears a brace. It hurts him to stand. EM, so? Emmy, for the love of just ask someone else. EM, you're in my favorite seat though. LB had already started quietly talking to another kid on the bus, and glancing at his mom as if he were talking about her. Emmy, lady, I told you, I have a disability. EM, you're just saying that because you're lazy. Give me your seat. I'm pregnant. LB, tell him. LB, she is. By now, we had caught POSD's attention. POSD, get up, boy. Me, ripping my pant leg up to show my brace I have a disability. EM, and I'm pregnant. Get the fuck up. F, you can stand without constant pain. He can't. Ask someone else. POSD, get up, or get off. F, come on. He can't stand without pain. At this point, I'm very upset about causing an uproar, so I wasn't fighting much anymore. Me, ask someone else. EM, give Emmy your seat. F, come on, Iridius. We choose our battles. Is this worth it? Me, I won't be able to get to the theater on time if we walk. EM, then miss whatever shitstorm you're watching. At this point, I'm on the verge of tears, so I could hardly speak. F, I'll call a taxi. Fuck this. Me, okay. EM, now fuck off. You don't even deserve to be at the movies. POSD, get off. F left the bus behind me, but before it took off, they poked their head in and yelled, F, go fuck yourself, cunt. I didn't see the look on her face, but from what F told me, it was priceless. F and I ended up getting to the theater on time, and got home relatively quickly on another bus, and its bus driver was thankfully fine. Anyways, this is the end of my story. Have a good day/evening/night. Thank you. Next. So where do I start? This past Black Friday I ordered a new desktop gaming computer to replace the shitty laptop I've been using the lady few years. HP Stream, do not buy it. The computer arrives in a few days and I unbox it at my desk so I don't have to move it more than necessary, since at full price it would have been $600 plus tax and shipping. Now I paid for everything myself. I'd been saving for months and was looking forward to trying it out for the first time. I get everything hooked up and set up and download Steam, and one of the games I had gotten on my old laptop. It used to run at 10 FPS on a good day, it now runs at its maximum FPS of 130. I was really happy with it and told my parents about it at dinner. Now they aren't the EP types, so what happens next came as a shock. My dad works with electrics and asked to try it out. Okay, I think no problem. After dinner I get ready to bring him up to my room, but his lazy ass asks, "Could you bring it down and hook it up to the TV?" I'm a little annoyed by this, but I comply since my parents are pretty chill 95% of the time. He tries it out and agrees that it works really well. My mom meanwhile is just watching. Now she has a home office, but she's planning on some remodeling and getting a new computer herself, and she's also impressed by the performance. So all goes well and I carefully bring my computer back to my room and set it up. I go out for a weekend camping trip and come back to find my $600 computer and monitor. I bought that on Cyber Monday for $80 on her desk along with the keyboard and mouse. They managed to open up my computer via the Microsoft account I linked to my personal email that they got the password to at some point, without me giving it to them, and she set up her own account on my computer with hers as the administrator and mine as the secondary. I ask her what was going on and she says to me, "Oh, since you have such a nice computer I figured we could share." Now I'm really annoyed since she has her own computer that works just fine. $500 when it was new, and that was 2 years ago. I ask, "So you just set an account up on my computer without asking me while I was away? You realize you have no right to use my computer since I purchased it." By now my dad is involved and he starts going on about how minors don't own anything their patents do, so we have every right. Now I'm really pissed because they're being jackasses about this. Meanwhile I need to use my computer for a project for school, in a fucking junior taking honors classes, and my mom is trying to use it for her own work. So I did what I thought was right and stayed up late, went down and brought it back to my room, and using their emails on their phones. They don't even lock them, give my account admin status and delete her account. Next morning they flip out and cut the Wi-Fi to my computer and order me to keep it downstairs or else they'll sell it and keep the money, I'm presuming at this point. They want to use my property because the law says my property is their property. Personally I call bullshit on this. Update. Parents went out to lunch with a family friend, so I'm moving it back in addition to installing a new lock on my door. Same kind you find on a front door. I'll be keeping the keys. Also updated all passwords to my accounts and made sure no notifications were sent to them. Thank you. Next. So, I'm back. I haven't posted in a while, but here we are. You're reading this post. Anyway, just here's the cast. Cast: M, me dipshit D, Dumber C, Egghead. Background: so me and my idiot friends. Well, we're not idiots. We just refer to us as idiots. Anyway, we went to this unknown breakfast restaurant and get a booth in the corner. So we casually hang out at the booth and go on our phones till our food's done. We make jokes until our entitled family walks in and sits by our booth. STR over here, entitled family talking. Me and my friends get our food. Family sees our food and EM goes up to us and says, "EM, hi, young gentleman, may I have your pancakes? It seems delicious and I'm on a tight budget." M, excuse me, what? D, M, are you deaf? She said she wanted the ice cream machine at McDonald's. EM, so is that a yes? M, no, because I paid for this with my own money and I won't give my food to a random stranger. EM, how rude. You are denying food to a mother who's on a tight budget. E, okay, if you're on a tight budget, why would you go here? Just this plate alone is $8-9. Why can't you go McDonald's? EM, well, if I can't have it, I'll take it. EM tries to take my pancake plate, ends up spilling the maple syrup cup, plate, pancakes all over me and my friends. All of us. Bruh, what are you doing? EM and family gets escorted out, and we go home. Thanks to a ruined day by EM. TL. Dr. Bruh moment happened.